Hello, hello, my Panda pals, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering what happened on The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 2. I am going to try and record this with as few mistakes as humanly possible so that I can record this as fast as possible because your girl really wants to play some Final Fantasy XIV. So, with that said, let's get right into it. Sit down, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. Let's go hang out with Sarper and Shekinah. Shekinah is headed to the airport and her friend Julia asks her how she feels about heading back to Turkey. And honestly, she does not sound super thrilled about it.
We hit a bump in the road with finding that book of his.
And so he still has his book.
He still has the book and the bottle collection.
But he did want to work on their relationship in person, so she's heading back there regardless so that they can try and work things out.
And if it doesn't happen quickly, I'm gonna pull out my book, you know.
What do you have?
So apparently, Shekinah has kept a love letter that she got from her boyfriend back when she was 16, and this love letter is 143 pages long. 143! What could that love letter possibly say? Is it written in like size 5,000 font?
I was like, let me just bring this with me to Turkey and put this and give him a dose of his own medicine and see how he does with something from my past.
Yeah, cause that sounds healthy. Also, I don't really know if a long-ass letter from 25 years ago is anywhere near comparable to a book tallying the over 2,500 women that he has put his pee-pee inside of.
I am madly in love with him, but I don't know how we can make a bigger commitment like marriage when he's still holding on to his past.
Back in Turkey, Sarper is super excited because he has worked so freaking hard to stay chaste without his lover for the past 3 months.
And I'm living a priest life without her. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
He is nervous because she's bringing Adonis with her, and he's a bad boy, and bad boys are definitely cat guys.
Mostly bad boys are cat guys. Not much big responsibility. You can leave them at home for 3 or 4 days.
But the fact that she's even willing to bring Adonis over means that she's really serious about wanting to stay in Turkey with him. Shekinah finally arrives, and they have a tear-filled reunion. Sarper brings her home and tells us he's excited to please her and tease her and never leave her and, you know, just
try a little tenderness.
But Shekinah walks in and immediately sees his bottle collection, and she is so far from pleased.
I kind of thought Sarper's gonna surprise me and I'm gonna walk in and they're gonna be gone. But that's not the case. It really pisses me off.
Let's head on over to James and Meitalia. Meitalia is headed to the airport, and while she is super excited to finally see her family again after 2 years, she is bummed because James is staying behind, and he told her a second ago that her fur baby Jojo won't be able to make it as soon as they thought.
Really sad that I'm not be able to see his family to just say goodbye because we didn't tell them that we are moving.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Meitalia can't even say goodbye to the family that she's known for the past 2 years because James is being the biggest wuss puss on the face of this planet.
And then when you gonna come to Indonesia? You didn't buy a ticket yet.
You haven't bought your ticket yet? If I were her, at this point, I would not expect to see him ever again. He could change his mind tomorrow about going to Indonesia, and she wouldn't know until the day that she thought he was supposed to fly out. He reassures her that he will fly out in a month or 2, and he just wants to work as much as he can, because whatever money he does make before flying out is all that they're gonna have until he can start working for her family.
If you work with my family, they won't pay you.
You said it was going to be a job, but now you're telling me I'm not going to make any money working for them?
They never pay for a family.
This is news for James. He starts immediately freaking out, and he is like, okay, I'm not gonna move if I cannot make money there and take care of you. Then Meitalia does elaborate, and she says the family doesn't pay him. They will buy the banana chips from her family, and then they will go to different cities to sell them to turn a profit.
Well, that's what you should have said. But to say that, oh, you're not going to make any money.
English is my third language. It's hard. I need to translate it 2 languages in my brain.
James asks how long Meitalia thinks it's gonna take before they start being profitable, and she tells him that it might take a while because banana chips are everywhere in Indonesia, so they're gonna have to hustle and fight like hell to even get into the stores.
You're making it sound like it's not going to be profitable. Like, yes or no? Are we going to make money or not? Yes or no?
Yes, we can, but we need to do it really good.
I would be very nervous if I was James. It takes a very specific kind of person to be able to hustle and be successful selling a product that already exists everywhere, that everyone is selling and everyone already has access to. And remember, he's got to do this in a country that he is not familiar with, in a language that he does not know.
I hate that we're having this conversation right here, right now.
Do you think I'm not hate to have a conversation last minute about JoJo?
Oh, that's f***ing right, James. That was so f***ing satisfying. How does it feel, James? How's it feel to be getting potentially life-changing information at the very last second? Does it feel overwhelming? Like you don't have time to process the new information, or you don't have time to make a new plan and adjust? Meitalia does say that she's been working for her family's banana chip business her entire life, so it wasn't like she was intentionally trying to keep the inner workings a secret. She just didn't think it was that important.
I don't realize if I need to share the detail what we do. I wasn't trying to keep a secret like he did about JoJo.
James tells her that he's just not confident that he's going to be able to provide for her anymore.
So now you're not gonna move?
I didn't say that.
I don't know, it sounds like you're not.
Meitalia is just over it because she knows that if he decides not to come, she can't really do anything about it, because she won't know about it until the day he's supposed to come.
Whatever, I need to go.
No matter how mad you get, speak in love. Because at the end of the day, we're still...
Love, 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 love. Is that what you want?
If someone is mad at you, do you want to know what's not going to make them feel better? Telling them not to be mad. If that worked, no one would be mad. Meitalia tells us that she's just overwhelmed. It is too much right now. James did not tell her that he's scared to have kids. He did not tell her about JoJo until the very last day. And now, with this whole conversation in the car, she's even more nervous that he is not going to end up coming to Indonesia when the time comes.
Can you just go with me?
I felt it but couldn't say.
I kind of feel like James is crying way too much for someone who's gonna see his wife in just a couple of weeks. I understand that people feel feelings, but it just kind of feels like he is crying because he knows in his head that he's not gonna see her for a very long time, you know?
I just feel devastated right now. Because I don't know when I get to see her next. I don't even know. I don't have a date yet.
What do you mean? You told her 1 to 2 months. What do you mean you don't know when you're gonna see her next? Thankfully, he did not wait that long. The distance was too much to bear, and after working for as hard as he could for the past 4 weeks without his wife, he is now packing up his things, preparing to fly out next week. Now, he's mentally getting himself ready to deliver the bad news to his family today and tomorrow.
This will be the second time I've done something like this.
I'm sorry, what? This is the second time? So apparently, James has been married before. He had a wife that moved to be with him in Maine, but eventually, she could not handle the cold weather and she said she's gonna move back to Florida with or without him. So he unwillingly moved to be with her, and he told his family about it at the last minute.
My family had to downsize the entire company. There was not enough mechanics to do all the work. I felt guilty for leaving everybody else behind.
I cannot believe that he has done this exact same thing once before. Which means he knows all of the crap he put his family through by delivering the news at the last minute. And this man thinks it's a good idea to do it again. His brother Jimmy and his wife Drew come over to hang out. They ask how things have been without his wife and ask when she's coming back.
So she's actually not planning on coming back because I'm gonna go over and join her.
His brother is obviously confused, and he asks him when he's planning on coming back, and James breaks the news that he is staying there forever. And he's leaving in a week. And his parents do not know yet.
That sucks. Last time you did this to us, you definitely left us high and dry.
James does try to justify things by saying that the circumstances surrounding the move to Florida were completely different, which Jimmy calls him out on.
Last time going to Florida, you did it for
Her.
the other person. This time, going to Indonesia, you're doing it for
her.
Jimmy is like, you do not know the language, you do not know the culture, what the hell are you gonna do? And James tells him that the language barrier is actually one of his biggest concerns, especially because when he got engaged to Meitalia, he promised her father 3 things. 1, he would learn the language.
And how are you doing?
I can ask where is something, but that's everything I got.
2, he would provide for her. And 3, he would give them grandchildren.
I don't really want to have kids.
Have you talked to her about that?
Like, there's no point to bring that up and throw more drama into the whole situation.
And once James gets to Indonesia, he has got to tell her dad that he is 0 for 3.
I'm just trying to show her that I'm willing to do anything for her out of love.
Anything? Why don't you try telling her the freaking truth? Stop hiding from her until the last minute, ya butthole. Drew goes on to say that she has seen multiple marriages fail because the couple cannot agree on whether or not they want to have kids. And she would hate to see him do all of this work to establish themselves in another country only to have their marriage fall through because he didn't talk to her about these things sooner.
I know decisions have huge consequences. If I say I don't want to have children, I'm not sure how Tata will accept that.
So what, your solution is to just not tell her until it's way too late? Thus magnifying whatever consequences occur 100 times over?
That could cause the biggest rift that could possibly break us apart. And I can't lose her.
Lying to your wife, not telling her the truth, not being able to work out your differences, not being able to handle confrontation, and not being willing to compromise with your wife, those are the things that are gonna break your marriage, not the fact that you had to give her a bad piece of news this one time. Stop being annoying. Let's say hello to Dempsey and Statler. Dempsey is 29, she's from England. She has just sold off all of her worldly possessions except her clothes because she is buying a camper van so that she can travel the world with the love of her life. Meet the love of her life, Statler.
Yes, Charles, I'll take a wine now. There's nobody named Charles in here, it's just me.
She's a 33-year-old Texan. She is a self-proclaimed quirky weirdo with a neurospicy brain.
I think I'm funny, but I don't know if anyone else does.
Statler should be packing, but she is overwhelmed by everything, so she's choosing to take a bath instead.
I end my bath by taking a pee. Really? Yeah. It's just this like freedom, like nobody can tell me what to do. I'm peeing in my own bath.
She says that this is her little rebellious way of saying F you to people, and I'm like, there are just so many other ways to say that without having to steep in your own dirt and urine. After soaking in her own pee, she FaceTimes Dempsey, and we get a little bit of a backstory about them. They met on a dating app, chatted each other up for 7 months until Statler flew out to the UK to finally meet Dempsey, and they instantly hit it off. Now, while their chemistry was through the roof, they weren't always on the same page when it came to their relationship. For example, Statler super does not want kids, and Dempsey really does.
So I think like the next step is like me moving to England with you.
I just think that we should like take things slow and not move in with each other so quickly.
Despite their differences, they finally agree that now is the time for them to live together. Dempsey sold the idea of living in a camper van, saying that it was gonna be fun, free, exciting, but now that it's actually a reality, she's having major second thoughts.
You are excited about this, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's just behind all of the feelings of terror.
Statler says that she gets worried because in her previous relationships, all of her partners have hated that she can get overwhelmed very easily, and when that happens, she will either lash out or freeze up.
I think on paper this sounds very romantic. I just hope I don't end up homeless and heartbroken in the middle of Europe.
Dempsey heads over to meet her friend Lindsay, who also has a camper van and is an avid traveler, and she's hoping to gather some tips for her upcoming adventure. She shows Lindsay the route that they've planned and confides in her that while she is excited to greet this new challenge, Statler is clearly struggling with the idea of the move and has pretty much shut down when it comes to doing any preparation.
So it's not been really 50-50 with the preparing for the trip. Is that a bit of a red flag when it comes to how she might deal with bigger things?
Dempsey says she doesn't think it's a red flag necessarily, but she is still worried that Statler will never be able to enjoy the present moment with her. Lindsay asks what she's gonna do if Statler decides to just call it quits halfway through their journey.
What if halfway through your route, she's like, I can't do this anymore?
Well, I didn't really think of that.
Are you sure Statler's the right person to be doing the trip with?
I don't know.
And that, my Panda Pals, is all I have for you today. Next week, we're gonna get to see Shekinah throw her little love letter right in Sarper's face, and we're gonna finally meet the man that made this face. When asked if he was planning on marrying his girlfriend, the girlfriend who is giving up her dreams and her entire life to come live in his country with him. A huge shout out to all of my channel members for their continued support. I hope to see you guys for the next one, and as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!